Megan Edwards with MiningIR, and we are here on the last day of the mining investment event in Quebec City. I'm joined by Michael Fox, who is the founder and publisher of The Prospector News and host of the Prospector podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me, Megan.
So, Michael, can you share with us your background and what led you to establish the Prospector News and the Prospector podcast?
Well, I acquired the Prospector News. I'm not the founder of it. I'm about the third owner into it, but I kind of backdoored my way. I'm an ex-radio person. I worked in the music business, and when I got out of news radio in around 2001, I was looking for consulting gigs, and I helped the previous owner with a seniors magazine of all things.
Okay.
And we did well with turning it around in a very short period of time. She says, so I have this mining thing called the Prospector. And I'm going, I don't know anything about mining.
Yeah.
She says, no, but you turn this other thing around, you could turn that around too. So I was as raw as it gets. I thought 43101 was a zip code, and it was probably a pretty good one because everybody had that.
I've been there with that one.
Fortunately, I've been blessed having good people, lots of geologists, and that take me under their wing and explain the complex to someone as simple as me so that I can understand it. And 23 years later, I'm here, and I own the Prospector, and we're doing what we do, which is daily news and commentary about this sector.
Okay, amazing. So over the years, how have you seen the role of media evolve in the mining industry, especially with the advent of digital platforms?
It's made it just like any other media. It's kind of made it really simple for anybody to, put a camera on, start talking, and, become an expert.
Yeah.
and discuss. So when I first started, you're sitting here on Media Row, and there's probably here at Quebec, there's probably at least a dozen operations very similar to yours, up and down. When I first started, there might have been 3.
Right.
There'd been the Northern Miner, there'd been Kitco, and probably mining.com, which is even now it's part of the Northern Miner. So I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen a lot of people get merged into other organizations and that. The track record we've been around for 40 years. So I guess I've been in the foxhole with these guys for an awful long time that, I'm taken seriously. But realistically, for good or for bad, there's more voices and there's more opinions on what's going on in the mining sector.
Mm-hmm.
So, people are exposed to more and more thoughts on how the markets actually are operating. As I say, some of it's not right, some of it's, but people do trade on that. So it's an important, even though it may not be correct, there are people trading on that. So it's good to know what others are saying. So,
yeah, absolutely. Based on your recent interviews and coverage, what are some of the key trends you're observing in the mining sector?
We are at the cusp of a generational change in the course of the mining sector. We had a taste of it in around 2010-11, but it was just that. It was a small taste. But since then, the big companies have started to mine out, and we need new resources to come in and fill the resources that have been taken out of the ground. And as a result of that, and pressure for change to decarbonize and other things that governments want, you're seeing a sea change where a lot of this stuff is we need it yesterday as opposed to now, and it's starting to reflect into pricing. Like if you look at the markets right now, an industrial metal such as copper, it's holding a bid pretty substantially in light of a lot of economic headwinds that should be declining. Silver is way up. There's another industrial / precious metal that you would think would be in decline, and it's not. Again, the supply and demand pressures are changing, and just because we might be heading into a recession doesn't necessarily mean they're going to function that way. Now let's toss in some geopolitics, and China and the United States aren't getting along right now, so mommy and daddy are fighting, and the toys are the commodities, and so you're starting to see commodity nationalism creep in, where countries, because you can't move the mine like a factory, the mine's where the ore is. They're wanting a bigger piece of that, and you're seeing a bifurcation of society between the East and the West. So we're going to have to get used to the West. We're going to have to be paying higher for our commodities, which goes into the production. So the goods outputs afterwards are going to be higher as well. And that's even assuming you can get the commodities.
Yes, absolutely. How does the Prospector podcast contribute to the industry, and what can listeners expect in upcoming episodes?
Well, we talk about things like I just talked about. We do some macro big picture stuff. I'm fortunate through my travels and 23 years of working this business. I've got a lot of good experts that can come in and talk about these things. So we have people like Jeff Christian from the CPM group. We have Mike McGlone from Bloomberg Intelligence, with Dr. Dave Lowy from Imdex out of Australia, and people of that nature that can come in and talk about broad stroke pictures of everything from Fed policy to geopolitics, et cetera. And then we have other experts who can get right down to various specific commodities: gold, silver, copper, rare earths, et cetera. So we have a combination of like big picture, where we'll talk about the world, and then we'll have small picture where we'll bring in individual companies and we'll talk about how they're going to help solve these bigger picture problems with the project that they're working on. So that's what you could kind of expect from us, is a little bit of both worlds. The bigger picture ones, they can be a lengthy conversation. The other ones, they're a little bit more tighter. They're maybe 10-15 minutes.
Okay. What advice would you offer to investors and mining companies navigating the current landscape?
Well, investors, research. Know what you're getting into. Not all mining companies are equal, and not all ore bodies are equal. There's something unique about everything. And this isn't a quick, make a quick buck kind of business. This is like farming. You got to plant seeds and you got to watch them grow. Very similar to a mining company. They got an idea. They have to see if it's right. They have to keep drilling to see if the resource that they think is there. So, you have to be able to follow that along the way. But I'm a big believer. I call it, use some horse racing terminology, jockey, horse, track. So I always look for a good management team. That's your jockey. Have they had success before? Or have they had success doing what they're trying to do now? That's the other key, because sometimes you get good management playing in the wrong sandbox, and it doesn't work quite as well as they might think it is. The horse, that's the project. It's got to be a good project. And then I like to find places that are reasonably stable. Then I'm not going to have to worry when I go to bed at night if my project or investment's been taken over by a dictatorship the next morning. So
right. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Everything's online at theprospectornews.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. But we're on LinkedIn, X, Facebook, social media. The Prospector podcast lives on YouTube at Prospector Podcast. So
okay. Easy enough.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Not a problem, Megan. Take care.